Hey guys, Thomas DeSilla Jr. here, aka Mustached. I'm here to review the movie Wonder Woman. No, I was gonna plan to do this review yesterday, but my streak of uploading a video every day has kind of been messed up with having a job, and then trying to catch up on other YouTube stuff, and then watching this movie, because I did not have enough time to actually pull off the review yesterday. So, after all the unnecessary drama that went behind this movie, like being shunned out of an entire area and having so much high expectations for this, you know, woman lead movie who's a superhero, because superhero movies revolving around women, like Catwoman's, etc., tended to not be looked upon very highly. Elektra being another example, and so on and so forth. So, Wonder Woman apparently had all this weight behind it, and I think it was a bit unnecessary because I'm sure, if I remember correctly, there were other animated DC movies that revolved around female characters. So I didn't really understand why there was so much wait for this to happen. Uh, but I guess, the world just, or the film world, especially in the superhero genre, expected it regardless, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, I went into the movie not thinking about any of that nonsense, and here's what I thought. We'll do a little bit of a recap. So, the movie tells of the origin story of Wonder Woman, how she was molded from clay and all that stuff, and then she lived in this Amazon like area, and then she was trained at a very early age, or she wanted to be, and then her mother resisted that notion, but she were trained regardless. And the mother's sister, Wonder Woman's aunt, I guess, or yeah, she was like, yeah, she needs to train because this god guy, Eris, is he's a pretty big deal because he's the god of war, and he's gonna find us eventually. But the mother wants to keep her safe, but Wonder Woman, or Diana at this point, wants to continue training, so she does. And then she's pushed to the limit at some point when the mother's like, alright, fine, whatever. But at some point, a mysterious plane enters this force field somehow. That was a little bit of an odd thing to happen, but yeah, it carries this guy uh, who ends up helping when all these other soldiers are attacking them, and then yeah, but that fight does come with the loss. I believe the aunt died at this point, or the mother, one or the other. But at any rate, I think it was the aunt, because the mother was still like, "Oh, you need to look for the weapon or whatever." Uh, or it was the mother. I don't know. Anyway, at, at some point she gets the sword, and then she's told that the sword has great power and that it could kill Ares, and so on and so forth. So she goes with this guy to the human world, I guess, because I guess this is like a separate world or something. I don't know how that works. That force field. I don't know what that means. They didn't really explain that at all, so I don't know. Anyway, they go back and then they meet some lively characters. They're pretty simplistic enough. I'm sure you've seen at least one of them in the trailer. That other woman, and then they share that little bit of awkward comedy, which seems to be a focus in this movie throughout. This sort of awkward comedy, and also trying to tell a Wonder Woman story. It takes a bit to get into the action bits of the movie where she starts to realize that she has these powers, and then she's charging forth into the scene, and you see some of that in the trailer, but there's a bit more here in the actual movie. I think there's like two more additional fight scenes, or three if you count the beginning part where the invasion happened. So the character who I thought was going to end up being the villain actually wasn't. It actually was someone completely different. And this villain, he wasn't particularly that interesting. Even when he changed, I'll say that much. Uh, he kind of led the guys, the main guys, soldiers into war, and he ended up being Ares, like in disguise or something. I thought this character isn't that interesting, and he's all like, "Oh, but humans aren't that strong. They're weak. They need to die. They're not capable of anything." You know, that sort of cliche. But Wonder Woman at this point being like, "Oh, but you know, they are capable of all that stuff, but they're capable of so much more." So she chooses to believe in the power of love because she fell in love with the guy at some point. I thought the relationship was a bit meh. The action scenes were as cool as they looked in the trailer, if not more, because we got more of it here. I would say the weaknesses of this movie, because there are two that I noticed, is this movie is incredibly long. It's 2 hours. I don't think it needed to be that long. I think they could have cut down some of the explanation parts. Like they explained her backstory twice for some reason. I felt that was a bit unnecessary. So I think they could have cut out the mother part saying it and then just left it for a little bit later. Stuff like that, I think they could have cut. I think some of the awkward comedy could have been a little bit shorter too. There seemed to be a lot of awkward pauses, and they seemed to stretch out a little bit too long. And I think the comedy could have worked a lot better if it was quicker. That would have also helped with the runtime of this movie just by a bit. Other than that, I'm not sure how else they could have edited this movie down in time. The thing that goes with the time is the pacing. The pacing of this movie is pretty slow for a long period of time. And the things that happen, I do appreciate some of them, like hearing her backstory, but I don't think we needed to hear it twice, for example. Or the action scenes were incredible, keep all that stuff in. Um, so yeah. Other than that, yeah, this movie's pretty solid. Uh, so I'm not surprised actually, but it is clear that they're trying to copy Marvel more now than ever, with their beginning intro being they're showing off all the other heroes that are a part of this whole Justice League thing at the intro. Um, Now, I'm not sure if this had an extra credit sequence. I actually did leave after immediately, so I don't know anything about that. But other than that, I think this movie was solid again. Just solid. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I think uh, all the unnecessary drama, like every other movie that comes with unnecessary drama, is, well, unnecessary. And it's gonna happen, it's gonna keep happening, and it's stupid. And we're just gonna have to keep moving forward past all the stupid drama because that's all I think we can do at this point. It is so ridiculous. But, anyways, I think this movie's fine. It's totally fine. I don't think it's extraordinary by any degree. Like, I don't think it's, like, superb, but it's solid. I don't think that's a bad thing to say, you know. So, with that being said, that is my review of Wonder Woman. And if you liked it, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye!